Hi friends, welcome back. This is Mrs. Heather and we are on cycle 2, week 6. Thank you for joining me today. Let's kick things off with science. We are asking the question, how do animals react to environmental change? In response to environmental change, animals adapt, migrate, hibernate. I have 2 different versions of this song, so let me know, mamas, in the comments which one you like the best. Here's the first option. Adapt, migrate, hibernate. Adapt, migrate, hibernate. Adapt, migrate, hibernate. How animals react. This is the ASL sign for special, because God made animals so special, and as you see all of their adaptations that they can do, there are so many unique ways that God equipped animals to adapt to environmental change. So that's for special. Migrate for like birds flying in mass migration. And then hibernate, we're just going to pretend to sleep like a bear hibernating in the wintertime. So that was option 1. Are you ready for option 2? Awesome. This one has a bit more movement, so let me step back. All right, option 2, when we say adapt, we're gonna jump up. When we say migrate, we're gonna run. And when we say hibernate, we're gonna get back down, okay? All right, how do animals react to environmental change? In response to environmental change, animals adapt, migrate, hibernate, adapt, migrate, hibernate, adapt, migrate, hibernate. How animals react. And of course, if you have more space for kids to run, that just becomes more and more fun. So which one did you like, number 1 or number 2? And that tune was to The Bear Went Over the Mountain, the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain to see what he could see. Because the bear in that song makes me think of bears who hibernate. Great job, friends. Let's move on to English. Tell me the possessive pronouns. The possessive pronouns. We're using the tune, This Little Light of Mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And we are using our pointer fingers once again, like we've done the last couple of weeks. So 1 finger for the singular and 2 fingers for the plural. It goes like this. Mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, yours, theirs. Mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, yours, theirs. Mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, yours, theirs. Possessive pronouns. Awesome. So we have mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, yours, theirs. And those are the possessive pronouns. Possessive like you're taking possession of something, and pronouns like we've done in our other songs. Great job. So this tune, This Little Light of Mine, works for a couple of reasons. First of all, it says mine, and that helps me remember that our list of possessive pronouns starts with the word mine. Another reason this song works is because the phrase, this little light of mine, works with all of the other possessive pronouns too. We could say this little light of mine, this little light of yours, this little light of his or hers, its, ours, yours, and theirs. It all works. And lastly, and I think most importantly, this song works so beautifully because it helps me remember that we have the greatest possession of all time, the love of Christ and salvation in Jesus and the light of Jesus within us when we decide to follow Christ. And we can shine that light because we have it within us. We can shine it anywhere that we go. So I pray that you have the light of Jesus in you, that you have possession of that, and you remember that that little light of yours you can share with everybody around you. Fantastic. Let's move on to Latin. Last week we introduced our future tense. Do you remember what we used to help us remember future tense? We used bow, like a hair bow or a bow tie, depending on if you're a lady or a gentleman. And so we were talking about how in the future we might go to something very fancy and get all dressed up and wear a bow. In the future, I will wear a bow. Or if you're a gentleman, in the future, I will wear a bow tie if you're a gentleman. All right, so show me your bow tie or your hair bow and say bow. Good job, bow. Then we have bis, which made us think of biscuits. Do you like biscuits? They're so good. Makes me hungry to think about. So we're just going to pretend when we say bis to put our biscuit tray in the oven. Bis. So we have bow, bis. Bow, bis. Fantastic. Next we have bit. Bit. We're just going to take our hands and pretend like we bit into something really yummy, like maybe those biscuits. So we have bow, bis, bit. Bow, bis, bit. Good job. Bimus. This is probably my favorite one this time. We have big muscles. Big muscles. Bimus. Big muscles to help us remember bimus, because big starts with the B sound and muscle starts with mus. So put it together. Bimus. Big muscles. Show me those big muscles you have. Great job. And next, we had the mosquitoes coming to bite us. They bit us. They bit us. Bit us. So make little bugs and pretend like they're biting you. Bit us. And lastly, we have bunt. Just making a little circle like a bunt cake. Fantastic. Let's put that all together. Tell me the first conjugation endings, future tense. And remember, in the future, I will wear a bow tie, or in the future, I will wear a hair bow. To help us remember, it starts with bow. All right? Awesome. Bow, bis, bit. Bimus, bitus, bunt. Bow, bis, bit. Bimus, bitus, bunt. First conjugation, future tense, future tense. Great job with Latin. All right, friends, we are on to history, which is one of my most exciting parts this week because we're learning about exceptional people during the Renaissance period. So let's get started. During the Renaissance period, from 1350 to 1600, Leonardo da Vinci was a famous inventor. Shakespeare was a famous playwright. Michelangelo was a famous artist. And Copernicus was a famous scientist. During the Renaissance period, from 1350 to 1600. All right, let's learn the motions to that song. So during the Renaissance period was known for rebirth. So we're using the sign for birth, which is simply to put your hand on your belly and then place it on top of your other hand in front of you. So during the Renaissance period, great, from 1350. We did the number 13 last week, so let's review. You make a 3. In ASL, you use your thumb for that. 1, 2, 3. Turn it around, put your 2 fingers together, and then just simply take them back twice, like that. 13, great. And we're just doing 13 to keep things simple. So 1350. Then for 1600, make a 3 this way and flip it twice. 1600. 3 plus 3 is 6, and flipping it around is the sign for 16. Great. So we have so far during the Renaissance period from 1350 to 1600. Then Leonardo da Vinci. Every photo I see of him has a super long beard, so we're just going to do that same sign for beard that we've done in other parts of our timeline song. So Leonardo da Vinci, we're going to make fists and then open our hands twice. This is the sign for mini because we're learning that he was a famous inventor, but did you know he did so much more than that? He was a polymath and had all kinds of talent. So Leonardo da Vinci was a famous inventor. Take your hand with your thumb in the front and go up the side like an idea, a light bulb is coming into your mind. And then take that same hand and go out twice. And that's like your invention is getting out into the world. So we have Leonardo da Vinci was a famous inventor. Awesome. Shakespeare was a famous playwright. So make 2 thumbs up. Point those thumbs to yourself and give it a little shake for Shakespeare. That starts with shake. This is also close to the sign for play or show to help us remember that he was a famous playwright. And then for fun, we're going to take our hands and become an actor. If you've seen those different masks in theater, like maybe a happy mask and then a sad mask, we're just going to make 2 different faces. I'm going to do a happy and sad, like I'm acting in a play to help me remember Shakespeare. Fantastic. Next we have Michelangelo was a famous artist. One of his most famous pieces is the Sistine Chapel, and we're going to pretend like we're working on that and we're looking up at the ceiling and sort of leaning back as we paint. So Michelangelo was a famous painter. Take your pinky like it's a paintbrush and then have your other hand be a canvas and just paint strokes back and forth. That's the ASL sign for art. And Copernicus was a famous scientist. One of the things that he's famous for is saying that it's not the sun that orbits around the earth. It's the earth that orbits around the sun. So we're going to make the sign for sun and orbit to help us remember Copernicus. For sun, take your pointer finger, draw a little circle, and then do the sign for light. For the light, there you go. And then for orbit, take one finger, point it up, the other hand pointing, sort of holding down, and orbit around your finger. There we go for orbit. So Copernicus was a famous scientist. Excellent. Let's put it all together one more time. Are you ready? Tell me about the Renaissance. During the Renaissance period, from 1350 to 1600, Leonardo da Vinci was a famous inventor. Shakespeare was a famous playwright. Michelangelo was a famous artist. And Copernicus was a famous scientist. During the Renaissance period, from 1350 to 1600. Fantastic job. Now let's learn some geography. This week we are learning European mountains. European mountains. Now on a map, what does the little sign for mountain look like? It looks like an upside down V or sometimes a triangle, right? And sometimes if there's lots of mountains, like it's a mountain range, there's lots of those triangles. So in our song, we're simply going to make a little upside down V like a mountain on a map as we sing the European mountains. And we're using the same tune we used for science to keep it nice and easy this week, which was the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain to see what he could see. Because that song works really well for mountains too. So let's start. Pyrenees and Alps, Carpathians and Caucasus, Ural and Matterhorn, European mountains. Great job. So we have the Pyrenees and Alps, Carpathians and Caucasus, Ural and Matterhorn, the sign for Europe, and mountains again. So tell me the European mountains. Pyrenees and Alps, Carpathians and Caucasus, Ural and Matterhorn, European mountains. Awesome! You know what that means. It is math time. We are on the 11s and the 12s this week. So let's see what we're going to do for the 11s. Awesome. A squat and a hold it. And for the 12s, all right, reverse lunges. We're going to get some good exercise in our legs today. Are you ready? So let's get started with those 11s. Get in your squat. Here we go. 11, 22, 33, and 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99, 110, 121, 132, 143, 154, 165. Yay! You did it! Awesome! We are on to the 12s and we're doing lunges, so go ahead and get ready. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108, 120, 132, 144, 156, 168, 180. Yeah, we did it! Great job, friends. You have made it to Timeline, and we already know so much of this song this year. You are doing fantastic. So let's add on week 6. We have India's Mauryan Empire. So point to your forehead for the dot for India's. And then Mauryan Empire, they were known for highways and roads. We're taking 2 hands and we're just making a motion like a road might swerve sort of in and out. So India's Mauryan Empire. Great job. Mayans of Mesoamerica. They were known for the pyramids that had the flat steps going up the sides, and we're simply going to make that shape. So up, in, up, in, up, in, all the way to the top while you say Mayans of Mesoamerica. The Punic Wars, we're doing the ASL sign for P. Remember, that's like a K where your thumb is between your pointer and middle finger, flipped upside down for P, for Punic Wars. Punic Wars. Next up, we have Rome conquers Greece. Rome is the ASL sign for R. Conquers is taking your fist over your other arm. And Greece is the G. And then taking it from the top of your forehead down to your nose to represent the nose piece on the helmets they would wear in Greece. So that is Rome conquers Greece. Roman dictator Julius Caesar. Good job. So we are standing at attention like we're in the military for Roman dictator, and then for Julius Caesar, we're just making a J, which is taking your pinky and then making a J shape. For Julius Caesar. Awesome. For Caesar Augustus and the Pax Romana, we are making a C, and you're going from your left shoulder to your right hip with that. From your left shoulder to your right hip for Caesar Augustus. Great. For the Pax Romana, it helped establish peace, and the sign for peace is to rub your hands together and then put them out flat like things are nice and calm and peaceful. And the Pax Romana. Great. And last for this week, we have another J for John the Baptist. John, and for Baptist, you take your thumbs and then dunk them down like they're going down in the water and then coming up. There we go. So John the Baptist. Awesome job. Alrighty, so now that you know the motions to the timeline, let's put this week's all together. Are you ready? Awesome. India's Mauryan Empire, Mayans of Mesoamerica, Punic Wars, Rome conquers Greece, Roman dictator Julius Caesar, Caesar Augustus and the Pax Romana, John the Baptist. Good job. You did it. And next week, stay tuned for week 7 when we get to Jesus the Messiah. I love that part of the timeline song. You did amazing. Give yourself a pat on the back. And thank you so much again for hanging out with me today for Cycle 2, Week 6. If you liked this video and this helped you and your family, feel free to give it a like, to share it with a friend who may benefit from it too, and to subscribe so that you can receive more video notifications in the future. I'll be doing one for all the weeks this cycle too through the year. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.